Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Knowboard. My name is Kevin and today I want to talk about snowboard boots and how to buy the right pair for you. So let's go. Finding the right snowboard boot for you can be a pain because there are so many of them, and I would like to talk about the different aspects of a snowboard boot right now, and we start off with the stiffness. Now you have to make your first choice. Do you want to have a stiff snowboard boot or a soft snowboard boot? A stiff snowboard boot transfers your movement to the board very quickly, but a soft snowboard boot is way more comfortable. So you have to make a choice. I recommend for people who want to go fast this direction, go with a stiffer boot, so you have way more control over your board. And if you want to go more on the park side, a soft snowboard boot is more than enough and is way more comfortable for the whole day. But you have to remember a snowboard boot wears out and it gets softer along the way. So you have to keep that in mind. There's only one brand and it's Deluxe with this plate which can make snowboard boots harder as you go, but not other brands. The second choice you have to make is about the lacing system, and we start off with the first one. It's the BOA system. You have a steel cable wrapped around your leg and it gets cranked up in this little turning device on your chin. You have to rotate it to make it tighter and you have to pull it out to make it softer. The second system is a fast lacing system and it pretty much works like a normal lace, but these are a little bit stronger. They wrap around like a normal lace, but you have to pull them tight and just put them into the stopper you can see right here. And then you're done. You don't have to fumble around with any knots. The third system is very traditional. It's just a normal lace. Like you can see here with my boot, you just tighten them like a normal lace and then you're done. Of course, there are advantages and disadvantages. Number one being how fast you can tighten them. Of course, a traditional lace takes a little bit more time to wrap around and then tighten knot. And a fast lacing system, of course, is a little bit faster. Two things you have to keep in mind. Number one, the fast lacing systems you can tighten and loosen very quickly when you are on the mountain. So that's a major advantage. The disadvantage is if they break. They don't do very often, but if they do, you are in a big trouble because normally you can't replace them by yourself, so you have to put them in the shop for that. So keep that in mind, but that happens very rarely. The third choice you have to make is whether your boot should have a membrane or not. For that you have to know that all snowboard boots are made out of a plastic frame and all the technologies get put onto that. So you have to know that a membrane only works one way and not two ways like a membrane normally does. So a membrane on a snowboard boot only prevents the water from getting in, but not out, because as it condensates, it will get stuck on the plastic frame. So if you choose to buy a boot with a membrane, your feet will stay dry a little bit longer over time, but of course they are a little bit more expensive. Now we're going to talk about the different inliners, so the inside of the boot or the inner boot if you can take it out. Not all boots can take their inliner out. I recommend buying a boot which has the option to pull it out. Why, we come to that in a minute. But there are three different kinds of inliners: a basic one, an advanced one, and the one you can put in an oven and really customize to your feet. And I want to start off with the basic one. The basic inliner is only there to cover your needs, so it's not very thick, it's not very comfortable, it's just there to cover your needs, and it's getting put in all the cheap snowboard boots. So if you want to save some money on snowboard boots, that's what you will get. The advanced model is a little bit thicker, it's a little bit more comfortable, it's made for longer days in the snow. So there you have to decide whether you are only riding for a couple of hours and you are getting along with a thinner inliner, then go ahead by that. But if you spend all day on the mountain, then you should opt for a more advanced inliner. The third option you have is a bakeable one. I'm going to call them bakeable ones. You can put them in the oven, so it's bakeable. When you're at the store, you put them in the oven, you put them on, and then they really match your feet. These are made for people who have problems with their feet and really go to the doctors a lot because their feet hurt or have some kind of special feet which needs some special attention. So they recommend for those kind of people. If you want to buy one of those, you can, of course, even though you don't have problems with your feet, but it's not recommended, and they're a little more expensive, so you don't have to, but of course you can. And there's actually a fourth option. There's a premium kind of bakeable boot with microfabric and leather, a little bit more durable, and of course a little bit more fitting to your needs. The last part is the sole of the boot, and I don't mean the spiritual sole, I just mean the bottom part of the boot. And of course, the thicker the sole is, the further away you are from the snow, and of course the feet stay warm longer that way, but you will lose a lot of the feel. Just imagine you riding a car and riding a car with a thick sole and riding a car with a thin sole, and then you know what I mean by that. So if you are a lot in a fun park and you want to really feel the board underneath you, probably opt for a thinner sole. If you want to hike all day and really want to work up the mountain for this one big run, go with a thicker sole because your feet will thank you for that. Now I told you everything about the advantages and disadvantages of the different boots, and of course you have to find the right one for you, but I will not leave you without some tips. Number one, there are several different brands out there, and of course they all have a lot of boots. Try a lot of brands out because they all orientate themselves on a different kind of foot, and I work with Deluxe because they really fit my feet, but your mileage will vary on that, so try a lot of brands out before you buy the first one. Number two, it's very important that your heel is not wobbling around inside the boots. So if they have to be very snug in there. If your toes are moving, can move a little bit, or if your chins can move a little bit around, that doesn't matter as much, as long as your heel is very tight in there. Number three, make sure that you can take out the inliner of the boot, because that way they can dry overnight, and if you cannot take them out, they won't dry possibly, and then you have the problem that they stink very fast, and you don't want to ride around with a stinky boot, so then you have to throw them away and buy another pair. So make sure that you can take them out and do so when you are leaving them to dry overnight. Number four, a lot of soles these days are getting made from foam, and that's because they're very light, and that's a positive thing, but you have to watch out because foam is not very sticky on snow. And especially when you're a beginner, for example, riding the button lift and you put your boot next to your binding on the slippy snowboard deck, you may lose control very fast. So you can opt in buying a boot with more rubber. Like you can see here, it's colored blue, and that of course gives you a little bit more stickiness on slippy surfaces. That's it. That's everything I know about snowboard boots, and if you think I forgot something, you can of course leave it in the comment section. They can also ask questions. At this point, thank you for Deluxe for sending me the boots so I can show you some stuff and not just talk about them and you have no clue what I'm talking about, so thank you for that. If you like this video, then leave a like. If you have any more questions, of course ask them in the comment section as always, and I will try to do my best to answer them. And if you really like these videos and like more videos like this, then consider subscribing to Knowboard, and then you get a notification when the next video goes live, and hope to see you then. Bye.